Today on the World Triathlon podcast, with September 25th being World Coach Day, we pay a quick homage to those behind the scenes, catching up with Brazil's high-performance director Rodrigo Milazzo and Hungary's Tibor Lehmann, coach of sons Bence and Csongor and a former national champion himself. Both men live and breathe triathlon, and over the next 90 minutes will tell their stories of a life in the sport that they love. Before we get into that though, thanks for all the entries to the competition on the Bergen preview episode. Congratulations to Christoph Lengyel, who correctly stated that Gus Eden would like nothing better than a glass of milk while biking an Ironman. There is a signed Christian Blumenfeld cap on its way to you as soon as we get your address, Christoph. More competitions to come in future episodes, but for now, let's hear from the coaches. Rodrigo Milazzo is the high-performance director at Triathlon Brazil, currently overseeing a rich crop of talent making waves in the sport. Rodrigo is also a World Triathlon coach facilitator and part of the mentorship program, keeping himself fully immersed in the landscape of swim, bike, run. So, Rodrigo, welcome to the podcast. You're a busy man, then, it's safe to say. You've got a lot going on.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, we have all these. The relationship with triathlon is a vast one. So I'm fully dedicated to it, but I started as small in my national federation, and then they actually started, putting up more stuff onto me, so getting more knowledge, and then, that was broadening, and then comes to a moment that when you see you're fully submerged into it, there's no way out. So, but it started as well. I took part of courses, one ITU course way back in 2008. And then that was an opportunity that at the time, the ITU development, they searched for me, and they actually proposed to go into, facilitating one or another course. And then the National Federation here, they saw, okay, this is an opportunity. And then that's how it started. So I got into getting more involved with ITU, and then with the National Federation more and more, and then the Continental Confederation as well, which is now SPATCO. Finally, I'm here in the position that I am, doing a lot of stuff. Like I said, totally full of triathlon, so just 100% triathlon running in my veins.
Amazing. And well, obviously, so this is, partly to mark World Coaches Day, as well as just to get to know you and understand Brazilian triathlon a little bit more. Over that 15-year period, how much, what is required from a modern triathlon coach? How much has that changed?
The good thing of having been, I was an athlete way back in, I can remember, I was 17, 16. So I had the experience as an athlete, and I knew that I could go forward with being an athlete, but not a pro. And the problem is that, okay, I like the sport, I want to be in it. And there was only one possibility. I'm going to go into a coach career, and then I'll get involved with the sport for my whole life. And that's how it happens. But being an athlete previously, and knowing what a coach that requires, and observing what's been happening throughout the coaching science, sports science, and I did my master's, and then I had also in England, in Loughborough, and getting more involved into science, and then knowing as an athlete, as a coach, with the scientific background and the requirements of the sport, and how it actually started to change way back in '96 when drafting was becoming part of the ITU World Triathlon world. Mm-hmm. So the high demands of the sport, they require us coaches to always get, like you said, the leading edge, but actually getting into reading a lot and studying a lot, and try to pass it on now as a facilitator for the past, 15 years, and doing the same thing here in Brazil with the coaching education program that we have. It is important to put up all these the experience that I have with also the observing what's going on, because I go to many races. This year I went to Montreal to World Championships, and also, I'm going to WTCS, and then Pan American Champs, and so we get to know all of this stuff. But I'm trying to understand through that, and then watching the athletes, talking to other coaches, and see what they're doing. And when we go to coaching courses and we go to that education program, it is important for us to observe this and translate that into what is required for athletes. It is quite a demanding, I would say, job, but it's interesting. It's interesting because it makes you study all the time, getting more and more involved in the sport. That's why it is important.
Hmm.
But it's, yeah, it's we have to sleep little and study a lot, and then work a lot. So it's not only being with athletes, being with coaches as well, and being in the national federation also as a manager, a high performance manager. So it requires also the other side, which is the administrative part, and then getting involved with the the National Olympic Committee, and the plans that we have with rising athletes, and what we have for development athletes. And it's like I said, it's a vast thing.
It all feeds into each other, right? So the more obviously your coach facilitating and mentorship reaches beyond Brazil, but at the same time within Brazil, presumably it's well within your own interests as a national federation, as high performance director, to find as many talented coaches that can reach out, and they're the ones that will then be able to find and nurture the talent out of your reach, and then eventually that talent would end up at your doorstep.
Yeah. What we have here as national federation, we have a more controlled, I would say, situation, that I can observe small details, and then I can deal with the National Olympic Committee to go on into a development program like we are having back this year. There's been published in World Triathlon webpage back in 2019, a project that we have started, but due to the pandemics, we had to pause it. But now we are, this year, we are resuming it. And we have the national championships, and which is the national circuit. We have this year we had 3 races, and mainly for the youth athletes. Here we use youth athletes as 14 and 15 years of age. So I'm making a selection of these athletes throughout these 3 races, and I'm getting 5 girls and 5 boys. And I know most of where they train, and some of them, they have the same coach, and they are development coaches. And then I'm going to get 2 coaches to be there, and we're going to put up a small training camp, which is going to be not detecting, but actually knowing that they are the best athletes in the youth this year. And then we can perform, on-site testing, like running, swimming. We can do lab testing as well, with more specific, ergo spirometry and spirometry in the pool. We can do all the stuff, and then make measurements with the people responsible for the Olympic laboratory here in Rio. And that's how we trace the athletes. It's a small program that we want to develop it more. Back in 2019, we had 4 athletes specifically. 2 of them this year in 2022, they were gold medalists in the Youth South American Games in Rosario in Argentina. So perfect. And 2 others, they actually participated in the South American championships in Formosa, also in Argentina, but they were like top 10. So we know that way back there, we were tracing them, following, and then we are having results. So the idea of this program is actually to increase more the participation of more athletes. Of course, the Olympic Committee is going to provide more funding with more results, and that's how it goes.
Yeah.
And then the talents that we have now, like Messias and Hidalgo and other upcoming talents like Jennifer, they are getting more and better results because we're providing better assistance to them, to their coaches. So the work that we're doing here, it's a small, it's slow, but it's providing results. So we are expecting for the future to have better results, more than we are now experiencing. So I think we have a good future.
So these national championships, sorry, you said, is it those youth athletes that you mentioned that are 14, 15 that you're going to do all this testing with? You'll select 5.
Yeah,
and then,
yeah, exactly.
Okay. So when, for example, Manuel Messias was 14, 15, presumably he didn't go through that.
Like 10 years ago here in Brazil, it was more like, and there's a lot of research, scientific research on that. It's more occasionally it happens, a talent to be discovered like this. So that was his case. That was the case of Victoria Lopez as well, because she was a swimmer, open water swimmer, and then her mother is a triathlete, and then okay, I'm gonna try this, and that was all of a sudden happens, and then there's an athlete who just emerges. But now it's totally different, because we are having specific races for young athletes. They are competing with the pros, because we have them participating only sprint distance races. And since young, they see what the sport is and high performance is, and it's a way of showing them, okay, this is high performance, this is that what you want? So if they actually pursuing this, and then it makes getting more and more athletes. For instance, we used to have in the national championships, which is the last stage of the circuit, we used to have like 50 to 60 elite I mean high performance athletes. The past one, we had 80 high performance athletes. I'm saying 80, and 60. I'm not joking. 60 of them were youth and junior.
Wow.
So we know that there's been pandemics, and they wanted to compete, participate in events, but as we put up the circuit starting here in Rio, the first stage in May, I think, yeah. And then in July, it was in Santa Catarina and Florianopolis, which is another city. And then we had Maceió with together with the FISU, the university sports. We also had the opportunity, so we made it together. And then that was the third stage, and was the national champs. One stage, but the national champs, and everybody was there. And I could, make a ranking with the youth athletes, and then I already proposed, and we're going to do this project in November with the Olympic Committee here. So I think that for upcoming years, we're not going to have only 60. I'm going to have like 100 maybe. And then for the upcoming years, more and more athletes. The idea is to have as many athletes as we can have in high performance. And then we make selections of those who are more talented than the other talents. So they are going to be taken over to higher performance programs. Just like we have an athlete that back in 2018, he was his last year as junior, and then he's now becoming one of the top 100, which is Antonio Bravo, and he's performing very well. He's getting there. So that's the idea. More and more athletes, and then we provide that, like I said, a guidance for them, for their coaches, and they get into to this wonderful world, a hard one but wonderful world.
The talent is presumably already has been there previously, but you have created more ways for them to find you and you to find them.
One important thing, and I think communication is essential, and I mean communication with the coaches. And there, Brazil is a vast country, it's a big one, and sometimes the communication it doesn't happen. Not because there is no opportunity of communication, but mainly because don't meet each other in races, and then sometimes they don't go to races because of funding, because of limitation of resources, and then that's why we don't talk. But it's open. We try to communicate in our webpage and social media to get in touch. Just putting up my email, my phone number. They can get in touch, and then it actually started to increase. And then guiding them, like I said, is just showing them, okay, try to do this, and okay, if you're not if you want your athletes to get points in the rankings, in the world rankings, they should go to continental cups and show how to do it, and it's getting better now. But in the past, people, they used to think that okay, that's the national federation, they are untouchable, and it's not that. So since I started like 5 or 6 years ago with the high performance management, I try to make the communication better and try to get coaches to, okay, we are here to help you so you can help your athletes, so we can make the sport grow. And basically that's what we've been trying to do for well, since I got in there here,
Yeah.
to increase this, and it's working. But like I said, it's slow. It's very slow.
You only have to see like the World Triathlon social media channels when Manuel won in Valencia, for example, and
Yeah.
the outpouring of just Brazilian flags commenting all of that, and so on. We
do the same here. Our communication staff, they're working very well at this part, and we know that we need heroes. When I say heroes, it's like Senna. So we have to have models, role models in the sport, those who are winning, and that's why these victories from Messias are very important for us. The same way that Miguel Hidalgo is rising, like he's a rising star. We all know that, and he actually, both of them, and some of the girls as well, like Victoria, Luisa, and Jennifer, they actually create this desire on the other athletes, the young athletes. Hey, I want to be there.
Yeah.
Say, hey, then we get more and more people involved, more young athletes involved, showing that, okay, Brazilians are performing well in the World Triathlon scenery, the scenario throughout in the world, and these results are solid ones, and they can get these results, and you can get it too, but you have to work hard. So most of the coaches are doing this, showing them that it's possible. And one of the things that idea that we had back in when I started here was putting the youth athletes, 14, 15 years of age, competing with the juniors, not doing it separately. We know, because despite being a very large country, we don't have much athletes. So we have to provide them the opportunity to be there, and then they feel very excited. Hey, I'm competing with Messias. So they're in the same start line. So they all get together, and it's important for them. And I think this is going to, like I said before, it's going to provide a very good result in the future. But just like I said, so we're talking about youth athletes now who are 14, 15. So we have to wait for 6 more years, maybe, for them to start showing.
Yeah.
And then they get really a solid career in sport when they are around 23, 24. So it's a little more. So we're talking about 10 years.
Yeah.
But we're going to get there.
And you have your Manuel Macias's and Jennifer's and Miguel's, who are in that early to mid 20s at the moment, right? So they're in that sweet spot,
exactly,
doing what you want.
Yeah.
And I guess their success and that their profile, does that then, you talked about kind of NOC funding and so on, and obviously that is always going to be something of a challenge, right? There's not sort of endless pots of money, and
yeah, it is actually a challenge, but we are challenged to work with them so they can have good results, and those results, they actually convert into a better funding for the following year. For example, the project that we have back in 2019, identification of athletes, Julia Munoz and Vinicio Santana, they were gold medalists this year. So we're gonna show to the National Olympic Committee, hey, back there we had that project, they're here, and now we got the results. So
it's working.
and then they say, okay, for next year, let's raise the bar for, let's say, 20% more funding, which for us is fantastic. So I can have more, we can have more projects, send more athletes to competitions. And there's now in our National Olympic Committee, the development area, and they're monitoring that. And they also have a specific fund just for that. So it's a development funding. So we can make parallel projects like we did in July now. So Vinicius, both of them, Vinicius and Julia, they were supposed to be going with me to Europe, but Julia, she had a stress fracture. She didn't go, but Vinicius and I, we went to Cisawivarus, and then we went to Tabor in the Czech Republic for the Junior Continental Cups. And that was a very good experience for them. Like I said, here in South America and the Americas, the reality is something, but in Europe, the reality is totally different. That's where triathlon is. So we got to go there so you can experience that. And he experienced, he said, hey, it's totally different. And I said, yeah. And then we show results to the Olympic Committee, and then they say, okay, perfect. So we're going to keep on doing this. So for next year, doing the same thing. And then we get more funding, and instead of taking just 2 athletes, we can take maybe 4. And then for the, maybe for the upcoming years, instead of going for 2 or 3 weeks, maybe go for a training camp where we get there, we participate in a competition, and then training, another competition, training again, another competition, and then back home. So stay a month away instead of 2 weeks. And in Europe, for instance, you have, as I know for experience traveling a lot in Europe as well, you have a lot of training centers, high altitude training centers and high performance centers. And we don't have many here. That's the point.
Yeah.
And because, now it's government, it's the national government. So they don't put a lot of infrastructure for sport like that, the same way that Europe does. So it's different.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's a new kind of new generations of coaches coming through as well? Like what are your, what is it that you think makes a good coach? What would you always look out for in someone to be joining the team?
Oh, well, we in our education programs, the courses that we have, I tend to notice who are really, I wouldn't say keen, but they are they are enlightened. And this enlightenment is on the way they speak, the way they talk, the way they think, and discussing about the sports science as well. If they have a different view, if they show, some of them, they actually show a more holistic view of the sport. And that's one of the things that I'm in the most of the courses that I'm here, that when I'm a facilitator is, and that's what I consider a good coach is. It's not only the sport and that's it. It's they have to think of everything that is surrounding the athlete and also surrounding the environment for them, in order to understand better not only the athlete but the whole process of training, and understand that the interplay with each of the disciplines is not only swimming, bike, and run, is also maybe strength training, but related to the sport. It's not just strength training, just like going to the gym. And then trying to put all the pieces all together and think a little more than that. Just see things, just try to extrapolate the narrow vision that they might have. It's not only what you're seeing, there's a lot more, not only at the sides, up, down, behind as well. So increase the perception of the sport. And that's what I think, what really makes a good coach. And of course, experience the sport for themselves as athletes in the past. They don't, like myself, I was never a top elite athlete, but I was a top amateur athlete, so I used to train as high performance. I wanted to perform well, so I did high performance training, not the same times that the top guys, but close. But that gave me a good experience, and then the personal feeling of and knowledge and feeling of the sport with the scientific knowledge and studies and the experience, the day after day training, and then being with athletes and being with other coaches, that increased even more. So the the knowledge that a coach develops this way is, I think, they're better than a good coach. They become excellent coaches.
And do you find, yes, sometimes you've had, I guess, coaches come through that have all the raw materials and are incredible motivational people, and you can see that they have that potential, and then you bolt on the scientific side of things that maybe they either didn't have the resources to get grips with, or had just never necessarily come across it, and so on. And you give them then those extra tools, and they can just run with it, and suddenly.
Yeah, we have a high performance coach course here in Brazil. And what I tend to show them is that, hey, you don't need a high tech for training athletes. You just need knowledge. You can do that with a piece of paper and maybe a calculator and also a stopwatch. That's what you need. But you need to have the brains, and you have to have the background, the study, and to see how you're going to use that. Because nowadays there are a lot of coaches who are using those. They are geeks, tech geeks. They're really into that, and they only see that. They don't know how it works. For instance, they know those GPS and with all the stuff, and then okay, it measures heart rate and all the stuff. But when you ask them, so what are you going to use that for? So what if all those gear, all the equipment fails? What are you going to do? So you have to have the knowledge. And it's, for instance, we have there's a big discussion with the training zones, and there's a lot of coaches, to determine the training zones, you need to do some specific tests with that, and then measuring this. No, the only thing you actually need to do, I mean, I'm a very old school coach. You just need a stopwatch, you get there, and from that, so the time that an athlete does, let's say running, the time he does in a specific distance, then you can translate that into many things. For instance, you can have the maximal aerobic speed that you can get in a test with 6 minutes, for instance, and then you can predict the VO2 max of an athlete from that. And you don't need to do a lot of using all high tech gear to do that. If you have, better, but what if you don't have? When most of the coaches, they don't have, so they don't have access to that because it's way too expensive. It got better, but still too expensive. So what you gonna do? So if you have the knowledge, and then you put it in, and then you can translate that maybe into training zones as well, and then from that you can predict the times that your athlete's gonna do on a run for specific distances. And then you get a training program based on that. And then you didn't need actually to take your athlete to a lab and then perform many tests, not invasive ones, which is pretty good. And it's more about knowledge and studying and getting more and more knowledge. And, there are very knowledgeable sports scientists out there, and they are really they're willing to help a lot of other coaches. It's just like I said before, communication. It's just send an email, ask for maybe a paper, and then discuss that, and then maybe form small discussion groups, study groups, and that's how they evolve.
Having said that, it would be quite interesting, would it not, to strap Messias onto some machines and see how he does what he did in Valencia, for example. That was just a phenomenal amount of power, and indeed in Arzachena, right? He did the same.
In Arzachena, he was flying. He was perfect. But this one in Valencia, that was fantastic, because Well, he started, because he had an out sprint with the other athlete, I think from Denmark.
Alga,
And
yeah.
then but he actually started running like 10 seconds ahead of all of the others. But they are, those athletes, they have basically the same pace, one more, another one less. But it took, I think it was Serra, I think it was Serra, yeah.
He
And
came
then he
up
actually,
past him.
yeah, no, I actually got to Messias in halfway through the running leg, but then Messias actually said, "Okay, now it's my turn." So you did all your effort coming here, said thanks a lot, but now it's my turn. And then he poof.
Yeah.
And even though
Yeah.
Mario Mola was running really, he had the best split of the day. It was not enough to get Messias.
Mm. Yeah.
And his run is one of the things that I say is if he's in the front pack and they start running together, all the guys who are in the front pack, they're going to have a hard time.
Yeah. There was also,
And Miguel Hidalgo is going the same way.
yeah.
He's younger. He's actually he turned 22 in August, so still very young.
Mm. And the
Messias is
excitement for
26.
you to have seen him do what he did in Huatulco and then to back it up in crikey, where was it? Well, it was Montreal last year, wasn't it? Not even this year.
What
Yeah,
I mean,
and
Miguel.
yeah,
In his case, it's really interesting because his first junior year he qualified for the Pan American Championships, and I went to that was in Des Moines in the U.S. 2016, and he was just a little boy. Everybody there, most of the coaches, they were saying, "Hey, is
yeah.
he a junior athlete or is he a youth athlete? Because it looks like he's 13." I said, "No, no, no. He's actually becoming 16 next month." But yeah, and then he's a late, let's say, late bloomer, and because it depends on each athlete, because it's the maturation process. But I knew that, but when he started to get mature properly, then he would just do that because he was a very good swimmer at that time, and then started to develop more. And I've been following that, and whenever I have the opportunity to be with him, in travels, just say, "I do remember back 2016, and look at you now." And he's crazy about triathlon. You have no idea. You have no idea. Yeah, most of the races that his strategy in the very beginning was going all out. Just I want to win it, and he goes like 100% swing in the
Well,
run on the bike as well.
and a bit like he's got that Hayden Wild inbuilt love, right?
Yeah,
He's with a smile on his face and
yeah.
like to,
He's a very good boy. I like him a lot, and I think we're gonna have a very good surprise with him in the upcoming years. Not only him, but all the others who are also coming. Like I said, Bravo, and we already knew about Messias when back in 2015 when we were in Chicago when Messias was world champion.
yeah.
And I said, well, in the following year, it's a U23 vice champion, world champion. So we all knew that he would have a very, let's say, future, let's say, a very
Yeah.
prosperous future. And that's what's happening now because he actually got more mature. He get more, more structured, more the training process actually he incorporated that he was working a lot more with his swimming, which got better. And now we're seeing that it's just like I said, it's a slow process, but for developing athletes, but for those who are already developed in order to get to from one point, which is a good performance, to an excellent performance, it takes more training, more dedication, and he became more mature, and then they get more aware of these things, and then they get better athletes because of that, because they start to uh, uh, they put together not only the physical part but also the psychological part, and then they mix everything, and then they get more focus, and that's how they become better athletes.
Mm.
And the results that we're seeing now with him, it's with Messias, it's just a product of all those things all together.
Yeah. his reaction to Serrat closing in being a perfect case in point, right? And presumably that sort of tactical moment is
exactly.
That
was brilliant.
And for someone like Louisa, who's obviously found a lot of success at the 70.3 recently as well, you know, how does that fit into what you're trying to do in your program and so on, when there's positives presumably to be taken from doing that kind of thing, especially if it goes that well. But then at the same time, you know, you're trying to develop a team for an Olympic mixed relay success and so on. So, you know, you've got a lot of things to think about, can bring or indeed detract from the bigger goal.
We talk to athletes that they are athletes and they have to have their lives, but if they have a project of going to Olympic Games, for instance, and we know that they have a 2-year a period of Olympic qualification, then we talk to them and tell them, okay, you have to know what you want to do, and you have to see the moment, what you can do now, and what you have to do in the future in order to guarantee your participation. Because let's say we started the Olympic qualification process this year. Let's say in the case of Luisa, she wanted to do the long distance championships. Okay, because we still have like a year and a half of Olympic qualification, not a problem. But if that was like 6 months before, no, maybe it wouldn't be a good idea. We would have to talk to her coach and, with her, and then tell, okay, the Brazilian Olympic Committee is investing money and we need to focus there. So if you don't want to do it, perfect, not a problem. But you have to tell us that, because it's very it's to train for this, counterproductive. Yeah, thank you. So it is long distance and short distance, sprint distances and also mixed relay. So it doesn't work well. So we talk to athletes. Okay, you do it, but focus that if you're going for Olympic Games, there's the National Olympic Committee behind that, and we are funded. The National Federation is funded by the Olympic Committee, so we get a lot of funding from them. And then that's exactly what they expect our athletes to qualify and then get there and perform well. So if you want to do something else, okay, just tell us that you want to do this, and then we try to invest in another athlete. That's how it goes.
Yeah,
it's easy, but we're not like like dictators and say, no, you have to do this, and that's not how it works.
Because was it is it Sandra Soldan from Sydney 2000? Is that was Brazil's best performance in Olympics? So
yeah, her 11th place. Yeah, so far, yeah.
Paris
until Paris, huh?
Yeah.
But way back in 2000 was a little different, the process of Olympic qualification and the quality of the athletes, and the sport was actually changing, because it started in 96, the drafting circuit, and it only took 4 years into that, because it changes totally the races. And also I follow all of the technical changes that World Triathlon provides, with the courses with more technical courses with turns and hills, Arzakina, for instance, and now Cagliari is going to be like that. So it changes a lot. So what is to run for an athlete? If an athlete goes to let's say a World Cup, let's say WTCS Cagliari, what's going to take for them to run, let's say 5K? No, it's standard. What's going to take them to run 10K in 30 minutes after that very tough cycling course? So it changes a lot. So it's how the training process. It also involves changes in the cycling training as well. So yeah, it is quite hard for them to see how the performance back in in Sydney was and how it's going to be there in Paris, for instance. Paris is totally flat. How's it going to be? I don't know. I haven't seen the course yet, but I think it's going to be very technical. That's what I think.
Similar to
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because Tokyo, there were no hills. Ideally, I wouldn't say just hills and that's it. No, just one of the best courses that I saw in the circuit was in Auckland, the WTS in Auckland back in 2012. They had curves, they have hills, and then up there, and then already a turn going down, and then a turn, and then going up. So it was very technical, very demanding, and the run also a little bit of up hills. And so that's what we want for our athletes, for them to excel in swimming, cycling, and running.
Yeah. The pool for Paris looks like it should be a pretty big one, right? And they're winning a place for a person on the team, not for themselves in their ranking. So yeah, would this be a bit of a new situation for you for Brazil Triathlon, or was the men's in 2012 quite competitive as well?
Now we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel in order to have more athletes there. When it started, 2000 and 2004, the qualification process was totally different. So it was not by the world rankings, it was the continental rankings. And Brazil was pretty okay because in the Americas region, Brazil with US, Canada, and Mexico are the strongest countries. So we get the spots. We had 3 and 3.
Right.
And then back to 2008, that has changed totally. And then we had only 3. And we almost didn't have 3 because there was the last qualified athlete from Austria, I think. He said that he wouldn't be able to go to the Olympics. And then Juraci Moreira actually got the spot.
Right.
So we will only have 2 athletes, but we had 3. And then in London, we qualified 3 athletes. And here in our country, we only had 2. So that was the gap that we're having from good athletes, and then now getting back again. So we managed to get 3 athletes totally different, which was Victoria, Luisa, Messias there in Tokyo. And probably we're going to go we have the very, very real possibility of having 3 girls and 2, maybe even a 3rd man in Paris. So we're really happy because of the work that we have done to get to this point. But it's hard, and so we have to make a lot of investment to be there. But like I said, our National Olympic Committee sees that. We show them the reports, the results, and the world rankings, and we translate that to them to say, okay, this is the real possibility, and that's how we're going to do. So we wanted so much to qualify for the first ever team relay Olympic event, but we didn't do it because we had a problem with Miguel's wetsuit back in Lisbon. But for the upcoming races, I think this is not going to happen. And we have proven, and everybody, mainly now we were in Montreal, everybody was telling Brazilian team relay is really strong. And we were unlucky that we had a crash, and nothing happened to Antonio Bravo, but his back gearing just broke. He was not able to cycle again.
Yeah.
So we lost an opportunity of a good result in team relay. So I think for the Olympic spots, like you said, we're gonna get a lot more than the previous time. So increasing from 2 to 3, and now increasing to maybe 5, which is excellent. So it's we're very happy with that.
That incident with Miguel in Lisbon obviously was horrendous for him, and he said on the podcast that he'd he got quite a lot of negative comments on social media about it and so on. Was that a time where you sort of particularly had to step in as in your role? Was that dealt with, or actually it sounds like he handled it incredibly well anyway and was very mature about it, but and was able to use it as quite a good learning experience to
I was not there, but I talked to him a little regarding that. And the problem about social media, I'm not a big fan of social medias because people say too much, and a lot of people, they don't know the sport more deeply like we do, and they just make comments which are sometimes they depreciate the athlete. And
Yeah.
I know that because I follow this incident, and it's an unfortunate situation, but it happened. It could happen to any athlete.
Mm.
And then, people just saying, because oh, the wetsuit is not a good one. Oh, you didn't do properly. Oh, he was nobody knows that because they were not there. And those who know a little bit of the sport, they don't know, like I said, very deeply, and they're not there. They don't know what happens. So the whole situation, living this like we do, like we go to races, and I know I can feel if they're made tense or they are like excited and they're afraid. We can capture that, and those people, they don't know that, and I don't know what really happened there at the time, because those things, they happen too fast. But I know that that was, like I said, an unfortunate incident, and it was not because he was unable, because if he was that he's not a good athlete. It's not like that. It's totally different. So I told him to okay, try to filter those comments and try to be as strong as you can here to okay, ignore some of them. It's good because if you keep listening to all the comments in all the social media, not only you're going to lose a lot of time, dedicating your precious time to stupid comments, and it's not going to provide anything. It's not going to be a positive influence in his life. And
Mm.
he's got also going to be wasting his time doing some stuff, and he could be training, resting, doing something else. So I know social media is important,
Mm.
but try not to bother that. It's important for us to talk to athletes and tell them, okay, you're an athlete. You're not a social media, whatever, like a big star. So forget it.
Yeah.
That's what I tell them. But it's impossible. They like that.
They're
Most
in
of
it.
the athletes, they like it.
And he kicked on and had the season of his life, right? So from that perspective,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly.
Is the Brasilia World Cup, is that going to be back on the schedule, do you think, for next year or soon? Because that obviously fell foul of the COVID situation as well, didn't it? So
Yeah, we want to have it. But we need results from the athlete. It costs a lot of money to run a world.
yeah, yeah, it would be amazing, wouldn't it? I mean, obviously the FISU went well, right? I mean, it looked like there were probably some challenges out there as well with
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
texture.
Maceió is a very nice city, but I guess they were not 100% prepared for that kind of racing, and the people, and that the same period was Independence Day on a Wednesday,
Ah,
and Friday there was the competition. So there are a lot of tourists, Brazilian tourists there, and then it was hectic. Was nice. They put up a very good event there. The result was fantastic,
mm,
but maybe if it was done 1 week later, after the national holiday, that would be better. A better control of people, and not a lot of people. But it's interesting to have a lot of people to watch the race,
yeah.
and the crowd went nuts with the second place that we had in the team relay competition. So
Okay, amazing. As you said, so Bermuda approaching, is Miguel back to full fitness for that? He's obviously had some injury issues, right? So
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
Victoria.
I was with him in Huatulco, and then his injury was there, but it got worse in Montreal. So we talked to his coach and himself. Okay, just forget it a little bit, recover, get better, and then train again, and then back on track. This South American Games, which is going to be in 10 days.
Hmm.
So he's going to be there. It's going to be his first race after his injury.
Great. Right. Well, we shall keep an eye on how he gets on out there for sure.
Yeah, sure.
And just to say thanks very much for your time. It's been fascinating. Brilliant.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, I thank you, Doug, and it's been a pleasure talking to you and to well, and just telling a little bit of our stories and knowledge that I made, a little knowledge that I have to World Triathlon.
Fantastic. All right. Thanks, Rodrigo.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Hungary's Tibor Lehmann competed as a junior in the first ever Triathlon World Championships in Avignon back in 1989, finishing in 16th place. From there, he went on to become a national champion, as well as a formative figure behind the sports explosion in the small town of Tizilváros, home of the longest-running World Cup in history. It is there that he still lives and coaches with his sons Benson Csongor and daughter Sarah, among those receiving his great experience. So, Tibor, welcome to the World Triathlon Podcast. Are you in Tizzy at the moment?
Yeah, hi. Yeah, I'm in Tizzy, but I'm many times so far from here, so it's this is the best place to sitting and talking with you.
Excellent. And just from a local, how do you say Tizilváros properly?
As you, Tizilváros, you're excellent.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
but it's better to call it Tizzy.
Better to call it Tizzy. So, yeah, obviously, just coming off the back of a big weekend in Karlovy for Csongor, your younger son, with his World Cup win. Are you all still on a bit of a high from that weekend, from that result?
Yeah, we were happy with this because I think it was the greatest result for Csongor. He won few world championships, but in a different categories. So the main target, the elite category. So I think this is a big step to achieve a gold medal in the World Cup, maybe in the near future in a WTS. I don't know. So step by step, we started with small steps with the juniors and on the front, then with 23s, and we can believe that we step forward in the next years.
Looking back, obviously there've been huge names that have won the junior world title. There's big names that have won the under-23 world title, but the obvious progression that he has been able to make, even in a World Cup level, kind of getting closer and closer to that gold and then achieving it. I mean, from a coach's perspective, surely it must be about as good as it gets, just seeing those targets being ticked off.
Looks very nice. But it's not so easy. So I would like to turn back to our method in the local club in Tizilváros, what was built up, I don't know, 25 years ago. So we'd like to develop the athletes step by step from the age of 10 or something. So from the very, very young ages, and we decide with the athletes and the parents what's the next steps after, I don't know, 16 years of age. So it was the moment for Csongor and for the other athletes in my elite team to decide the next steps, and we try to plan very exact for the next few years. I don't know, maybe 2 or 4 years ahead. Yeah. So we planned this one, this kind of steps. What he did. I mean, Csongor, but it's not an easy way. So we plan a very similar way with other athletes of us, but not everybody can step very easy like he.
So what was the window that you had planned for this first World Cup win then? As you were looking through the year, was it, okay, these are the races that we think we've got the most chance, or ideally, as we're ticking through the Paris 2024 kind of qualification cycle, we would like to have had that first gold by, I don't know what, like the start of 2023, or was it quite specific?
No, the main target is the qualification, and if you checked his races, we try to, and he tried to achieve the highest average points what he can. from the first race of the qualification. So we didn't point this race as a big target. It's just part of the qualification, but we know just before the race that when he tasted this course in 2020, he finished ninth, and next year third. So the next thing must be the first or second. So, and if you know Csongor, and you know Csongor, he is very dedicated athlete. So he's very strong in his mind. So he could get it.
Yeah, no doubt. But equally, yes, it's obviously about qualification points is the priority, but to also have that ability to finish off races now, and to have the confidence that he's done that at that World Cup level is a huge kind of tool, right? Another string to his bow that you would want going into an Olympics. Yeah.
It was the step-by-step progression too, because after his confidence in the Hungarian races, we went to the international races. He got the confidence in the European Cups. He won or he was in the podium in every European Cups where he took part. And the next level, I think we did the next level with the World Cups, and we're waiting for the WTS and get this confidence in the WTS races too.
Yeah. And you mentioned his, that also the sort of step up to WTCS as well. And I mean, his first one, I remember him saying when he was on the podcast that the Yokohama 2019 race obviously went not really to plan, and you can never second guess what your first experience at that level will be right? And it was 3 years ago after all, but I don't know, looking back on it, do you think it was the right thing to do at that time? Was it too early? Was it actually a very good learning experience?
It was too early if you wanted to get a good result, but we wanted to taste this level of races. So in this point of view was not early, and maybe it depends on the character of the athletes. Csongor could use this last position when he finished. He could use this last position as a motivation. He realized what is the difference between the junior level and the highest level of the Olympic triathlon. So it was an extra motivation for him, and he became better and better and stronger and smarter and etc.
Yeah. Well, and yes, want to obviously talk more about him and Bensei's careers and your coaching and so on, but also like looking back to Avignon 1989, as we mentioned in the introduction there, and how clear are your memories of that first World Championships and being a part of it?
Nice memory. It was one of the first of my international races. We were just after the communism in this East European area. So Europe opened the gates in front of us, but we were very poor. We drive, I think, 24 hours with the two Zhiguli car. Maybe you don't know, it's a Russian-made car.
Okay.
So we drive 24 hours, 5 bikes and 5 persons in a cars.
Oh, wow.
And we couldn't drive on motorways because it was because we had
too much.
It's too much cost. So we arrived to Avignon by night, but it was a small motel without non-stop reception. So we were lying in the park.
Well, you couldn't even check in
in the morning.
Yeah.
We checked in in the morning. Yeah. So it was interesting, and I never seen so much bike like there in transition areas. So it was a great moment. No, I'm not so proud the result, but I'm proud to be there.
It sounds like your preparation for the race was perhaps not ideal if you were 24 hours in a car.
Yeah, no.
Don't want to be too hard on yourself. I mean, when you think back to that, and so you were traveling with, presumably, because you were the only junior male from Hungary, right? But were you traveling with some of the elites then as well, or the girls in the junior, or?
To Avignon, you mean?
Yeah.
Avignon? Or, yeah. No, with a few elites, and yeah, I don't remember exactly. It was a big challenge and an experience, like hiking the Himalaya. So.
If you're so looking back at that and how, for example, Csongor would have prepared for Gold Coast Junior World Champs, completely unrecognizable, right? The sort of how the sport is today to back then. You know, the experiences that Csongor has had versus what you had at that sort of age.
No, it was a totally different way of Csongor. At first, he has a very good team around him. It was 5 years ago too, and he has a very good training team squad right now. Because not only Csongor has a few international medals. Csongor was prepared a little bit better. We did it step by step. So 1 year before, 2 years before the World Champs, took part as a youth in junior European Cups. So he got international experiences. I think he was first in 2017. He was first in the junior ranking in Europe. He got a medal 1 year later in the junior Europeans. So it was step-by-step progression. We expected the medal in Gold Coast after Rotterdam's 7th place in I don't know, in 10 degrees when he frozen. So
I mean, it's obvious how Csongor and Bence and Sarah as well, I guess, got into the sport. But what was the original inspiration behind you discovering triathlon and getting into it at a time where it was barely heard of, presumably, in much of Hungary, and indeed the world, in the sort of mid-80s?
We started to work with the different coaches from different sports. So we learn a lot from the swimmer and cyclist and running coaches. So maybe, yeah.
There were local triathlon races, were there, that from the very beginning that you were able to take part in? Is that how it started for you?
Yeah.
I'm just interested to know, like, what, in a way, like, why triathlon, or how triathlon for you, given that it was.
I don't know exactly. After my first triathlon, which was 1,000 meter swim and 60 kilometer run, no drafting, and 15 kilometer run. I don't know how these distances. So after my first race, I was sure that this is the best sport of the world.
Yeah. And
I can say you why.
And how?
Even now.
So how did you, apart from, filling cars with as many people as you could to share the cost of petrol and stuff, presumably, how did you actually fund yourself in, as you were trying to pursue this sport? No social media to sell yourself from, no podcast to go on and talk yourself up.
Yeah, it was nothing. Maybe this way was the best way to find out everything. I had very good mentors in time after time. So after my first 2 years after my first triathlon, another crazy person from Budapest called me to move to Budapest and train with the other crazy guys who find that triathlon is the best sport. So we were 5 or 4 athletes together, and it was a small squad. After a few years, we went to another squad with other crazy persons. So
there's a lot of crazy people in your corner.
Yeah. But and the key moment was the squad, the group around me, around us. So I think this is the key moment for Csongor too, the squad.
Yeah.
So this is the strength of Csongor, and I think this is the strength of the best Olympic athletes in the world. If you look around, have to find a good squad, which is push you to the maximum.
So you wanted to try and recreate that.
Yeah.
That what you had for your club in Tizzy.
Yeah. I was never thinking about this till your question, but it's very similar year after year.
Yeah. So you were already coaching, but I remember speaking to Csongor and Ben say in Tizzy in 2019, I think they were talking about their sort of formative memories of putting together mini triathlon courses in the yard when they were like sort of 5 and 7 or something. Were you already coaching in Tizzy long before they, were old enough to take part as well, or was their interest in the sport what's that made you want to start coaching?
Ben's the older. He were I don't know 4, 5 years old when I was still competing in Ironman distances. So he has few impressions for the races. It was the reason why he played the triathlon in the garden. And when Csongor is a little bit older, I don't know, 3 or something, he played with Ben the same. So Ben's always pull Csongor behind him. So it was in the triathlon. It was in the first year too when they progression started. Sarah, if we are talking about my children, Sarah is a different story. She grew up in a club because the parents and the brothers were in a club, and it was a normal life for her. She were here because of the community, so she loved this environment.
And if you sort of look back to them as 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old kids, did you see something in them back then that you thought these guys have got a little something about them, or just that little, whether it's a competitive edge or just a determination or something? Obviously at the time you weren't probably thinking he's going to win a World Cup at the age of 23, 24, but
I've seen that they are super active guys. So we bring them to not only triathlon, they were training for gymnastics, for example. And I can say gymnastics is very good for all sports, especially the triathlons.
And discipline.
Yeah. If you check just a sample, if you check the transition area, how fast is the transition area, we can say thanks for the gymnastics.
Oh, really?
So yeah. and jump into the water, and many skills come from there. But they did everything, BMX and everything.
Yeah.
But
and what about their... Sorry,
but
go on.
in every sport they were very competitive. It's true.
Right. With each other or with everyone around them? Like, were they like, I want to beat you, you want to beat me? Or were they, we're a bit of a gang, we're brothers, we're going to try and beat everyone else?
With each other. And, they had a squad in the very early ages too, because they were a few other friends and athletes who grew up with them. One of them is a professional cyclist now. One other is finished the triathlon, but it was a very, very good squad, if I can say. Mm-hmm. So they raced with them, but for as individuals, not in the teams.
Yeah. So you already had your squad, your group training in Tizzy on the lake there, and then Bensei and Csongor were there probably anyway, right? And then they just got more and more involved. How big is that club in Tizzy? Are we talking sort of 10, 15 other athletes in total, or?
No. At first I have to say this is a very small town, so it's 17,000 people lives in Tiszaújváros, so not too many chance to get a few hundred athletes, but we have 70, 80 athletes, mostly development athletes, but we have almost 10 elite athletes and few age groupers. But this club is development club, was in the last 20 years, and in the last 2-3 years we try to improve the elite squad. Mm-hmm. We had few elite athletes earlier too, and I always say many thanks for that guys, because we found out the method what we use now. So we found out with them and practice with them the altitude training camps and many other things. So they are very good friends of mine too, the athletes from 15 years ago. Uh-huh. But I think the results just started to come now.
So the success of Csongor and Bensei and so on is down to people you were coaching with 15 years ago, is it? And
yeah, it was a progression of me too. So
well, yeah. And you're now, a coach facilitator for World Triathlon as well. So is that another thing that, you just want to be able to share that knowledge and discover more talented coaches, because that's how the sport will continue to grow?
Yeah. 2004 or 5, I met with my colleague, also from Hungary, from the Scientific side. He's a scientific advisor now. He's working beside me, and I don't know. After a bad Europeans, we were sitting in a room and drank a few bottles of red wine, and we found out that we are not different than the French coaches and or the German coaches. The athletes not different than the French or German athletes. So why are they the successful athletes with many medals, and we are in the back? So I think on that night we changed our point of view. The triathlon, we started to work very much, and join the ITU courses, coaching courses, and after we became facilitators in few courses, and and read more about the successful coaches we met with them. We invited them, so it was a long procedure, and we get, I think, a lot of informations, and we found out a lot of things. So, and it looks like start working.
So you found inspiration in the bottom of a bottle of red wine.
Yeah, it was, but maybe it was inspiration of my colleague. His name is Dr. George Saka, I have to say, because he turned me back to the coaching career, and he helped a lot of me. So he's a advisor, and he's like a power bank of mine.
A power bank.
Yeah.
keeps you ticking. So was that the point? So there was a moment where you effectively changed the way that you approached coaching. You wanted to become more professional in the way you were doing it to make your athletes more professionally successful as well.
Yeah. But maybe I'm not smarter now, or not much smarter now than that night. But we decided that 90% is not enough. Only the 110% is enough. If somebody comes to this squad, I ask to be 100% dedicated to the aim, what we point in the future. And these guys are young athletes, so it's important to work with the young athletes and improve them. This is the best way of mine. I believe if we grew up together, I mean, from the junior till the elites, we can understand each other better, and we can. The work is more efficiency. And I'm very proud in this year. Not only Csongor, but we had a new athlete in the squad. It's Gergely Kisi. As in the first year, he had 2 European medals. I mean, European Cup medals. So it's the same progression. It looks like the same progression like Csongor, and waiting for the next years too. I have a very good junior athlete who won the European ranking this year, Gyula Kovács. So
yeah, I
think we are in front of the very, very big progressions too.
Who was the boy? Gergely
Kis. He was third in TC this year, and third was in Alhambra, the European Cups. Oh. I know it's not a World Championships, but I'm very proud of him.
Yeah. And your coaching methods, probably, I mean, having brotherly competitiveness to be able to work with as well must have been quite useful.
I don't think it was easy for Bence because yeah, it first time it was a motivation, but probably for a few years it was a frustration for him. And it's the same between every brothers. I think we have in Hungary few brothers and sisters in the triathlon, maybe Devai brothers too. So it's not easy.
Which must have led to some difficult times, did it? Then within the family, obviously. I mean, Csongor's now got his own apartment, right, and Bence presumably as well. But when you can't escape, you're training together, you live together, competing together. Your dad is your coach. It must be quite intense, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe it was the reason why they left the family house very, very early. So at the age of 19, both of them went to their own apartment and start their own life which is good, I think.
Mm.
In the training camps we are partners, not parents and kids. I think we can work together, so it's no problem anymore. Maybe it's hard in the first few years, the age of juniors, or when they are not really professionals. But now it's working well. I know everything about them, and I try to know everything about the other athletes and know him and watch and observe them as a person, and it's no different between them and the other athletes of mine.
Do you think it has made you a better coach to other people as well because you've had to coach your children? And do you think it's made you a better dad because you've had to adapt yourself to very different ways of kind of interacting with your children, right?
Yeah, hopefully, yeah. I'm better dad and I'm better coach, but I'm not sure every time, every moment.
And is Bensei's kind of permanently moved on to longer distance now?
Yeah. I think he decided now. I didn't tell him. I think he did the World Triathlon races and tried the longer distances, and I think he decided now he turned to the longer distances more.
Mm-hmm. To which you presumably then have to adapt coaching a fair bit as well, do you? Or is it, how does that sort of fit in with the squad and with your training programs if you're trying to have one athlete focusing on more 70.3 or full Ironman and Csongor on the short course?
Yeah. It's easy during the base period, and the athletes in the different ages, and the athletes has a different calendar, but I would like to make a pars or try to find a common point in the training. So it's working well. It's not easy to organize.
No.
The planning is I don't know, 50% of the organize the trainings to find this the training the common points. But if I can find these points, the training efficiency is much higher, and I think it's good if it's better than if they training for one world champs, for I don't know, 10 athletes for one world champs. It's maybe competitive, but it's not good for the team.
More one dimension.
I prefer a different athletes for different aims and try to find the common points. But I could organize till now. I think I can organize in the future too.
Yeah. So you plan, obviously the group is working well, as you said. So do you plan on staying Csongor's coach for as long as
if I can give a positive impact and new efforts for him. So if I can improve his performance, I will stay with him. I don't know what will happen after Paris.
And what
I will ask him after that how he feels.
Sit down with a couple of bottles of red wine and plan the next. Yeah. What do you and what does he feel are the key areas then between now and Paris that you'll be working on specifically?
We are still develop his performance, so we didn't finish his development, which is a long story, but I'm waiting a very fast competition in Paris, so a little bit same like the French Grand Prix. So we are training for a French Grand Prix style Olympics.
Oh, that's true. There's going to be a lot of competition to get on those French Grand Prix start lists, probably to get a flavour for that over the coming years.
Yeah, we will compete a few times, but we'd like to improve different abilities of Csongor. This is why we were in Karlovy 3 times, because we improved his cycling. Maybe it's okay now in a hard years. So we improved the running speed now in the next period. So
yeah,
depends of the abilities in the different disciplines.
Tactically, it looks like he has got what it takes after that move in Karlovy Vary. Did you at any point think he's gone too early?
No, he's very smart if you talking about the tactics. In Karlovy Vary, yeah, it was the first race when I couldn't advise anything to him in the second half of the running, because I couldn't imagine what was the weapon, was the tool opposite to the American guy, which is very fast. But Csongor find it. So maybe he's smarter than me sometimes.
Sometimes. Disclaimer. So does that, I mean, it's we're this podcast is to mark World Coaches Day as well. What does that go down as your perfect moment so far as a coach? What do you look back on?
I think as a coach, I'm still waiting for my great moment. So I had few very good moments, of course, when the World Champs, the first international medal of Csongor, the first good race of Vence or for the other athletes, but I think I'm still waiting for my great moment. Maybe it's my motivation, but it's a very good moment when I see my former athletes in a racing course, like as a age grouper, for example. I have a few former athletes who are still racing, and because they love the triathlon. These are great moments too. Not only the winning, but I'm working for the winning.
So all being well, Csongor will be your first athlete, your first Olympian.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. How close was he to qualifying for Tokyo?
He was close to Tokyo, especially his performance. He was in a position, in a good position, but the Hungarian qualification system was a different one. So the best ranked athletes were named to the Olympics. So, but it was okay. We didn't expect it that we have so many good international level athletes before Tokyo, but we had. But Tokyo was great for the Hungarian triathlon. So 7th in a male and 12th in a female. It was good.
Yeah. And you've been in the sport longer than most. A lot of changes over that time. Are there any changes that you would like to see brought in? As is there anything specific that you think the sport needs or would benefit from?
I cross my finger for, maybe it's too specific, but I cross my finger for the safe courses, because the triathlon is very, very fast now. I'm crying for the handlebars, because the handlebars helps for the Yeah. So I have a few ideas, but the life will say is it right or not.
Yeah. Brilliant. Well, and so we are at the end of September now. Still plenty of racing left to go. So you've got some very important races still on the schedule.
The way of the qualification, we plan Cagliari first weekend of next month, and probably Bermuda. Two WT races, and hopefully we'll take a next step to the next level.
Excellent. Great. Well, yeah, we look forward to seeing Csongor in action, and look forward to World Cup racing returning to Tizzy next year. Hopefully, is that on the plans? Do you know?
Yeah, working on it. Yeah, no decision, but yeah, this is the idea.
Brilliant. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, Tibor. It's been brilliant talking to you.
Thank you, Dave.
And we shall see you out there very soon.